Yo, if you want to make more than 4 exalts in a league, I'm going to need you to do 2 things, all right? Have one tab, whether it's a quad, premium, or normal, have one tab that you're going to dump items from strategies that we'll talk about in this video into. All right, number 2, I'm going to want you, and you're going to need to, download Exilence next. This is a program that tracks what you put into your tab and how much that is according to PoE Ninja prices. So if I put jeweler orbs and fusings, chromes, and alchs into my example tabs here, and I have my stuff set up in Exilence next, when I change zones, my stuff is refreshed, right? All the information of my tabs is refreshed. I can fetch a new snapshot through Exilence next, and it's going to bring up all the items that I put into my stash tab, and it's going to price them according to what PoE Ninja prices are. Now, this is it takes a second sometimes. This is very important you do, because we're going to talk about a lot of money-making strategies, 4 to be specific, that you can do in Path of Exile to make more than 4 exalts, but you won't know how much you're making unless you're using Exilence next, because when I show you a tab that looks like this, you have no idea how much you've made from this. And this is the problem that most people encounter in Path of Exile. They don't know how much money they're truly making. And you'll see this when looking through a fragment tab, for example, right? Any elder fragments, shaper fragments, any emblems, these are all worth a lot of money. All the breach stones and the random scarabs that you get are all worth a lot. And anytime you're mapping, you can very easily just dump it all into a tab and have Exilence next, right? So as the example there, I was doing some Legion farming. And doing this Legion farming, I was wondering, how much money am I going to make, right? Is Legion farming actually going to be worth doing? You know, a lot of these questions can be answered by you using a dump tab. And so here we go. I was using some rusted Legion scarabs, and I was wondering, man, are these really worth 11 chaos each? And I ran about 20, 30 of them, and I checked how much money that I made from all of my emblems, from all of this stuff, right? Because I can't count all this. You can't count all this. Nobody can. No player can count all this in their head unless you take, like, what, 15 minutes to just sit here, price check. All right, one at a time. I'm going to price check each and every one of these. No, just use Exilence next. All right, that's the biggest thing. Now, money-making strategy number 1 that we're going to talk about, Doc Arrive, is Rogue Harbor. All right, I want you, and this is the easiest thing that any new player can do, even if you've just killed Kitava.
What are you after?
Go to the Rogue Harbor, buy
Buy
all of these contracts, all right? You can get specific with it later. You can get into the nitty gritty, but just go ahead. They're 1 chance orb each. I bet you've picked up some chance orbs.
Bye.
Pick them up, go over here, give them to the lady, right? If you've gotta, go do the little quest line, right? You get Karst. When you do a contract with Karst, he brings a friend along, all right? I think it's Tulina. Then you get to do a contract with Tulina. Tulina brings a friend along. Then you do a contract with that friend. That friend brings a friend along, right? And so it's like Karst to Tulina, then Tulina brings up, right? It's a step up. And you do that, and sooner or later, you've invited everybody into your little heist gang, all right? Then you do all of the contracts here. And I want you to dump it all into your tab so you know exactly how much you've made. And when you're doing these contracts, keep in mind that you won't get reveals unless you're within a few levels of this 67 contract, but you can always buy level 80 contracts from the TFT in bulk. It's a Discord. You go to their willing to buy or willing to sell bulk channel, and you'll be able to buy a lot of contracts if you'd like. I have my own video on this. Go ahead, check it out. Link in description. We ran random contracts, item level 83. I bought them 3C each, and we made about 10 chaos profit on every single random contract, right? I was doing even the crappy ones, right? We got a couple lock pickings, we got a couple deceptions, some good ones, and then we ran a bunch of crap ones, and we still made a lot of profit off of each and every one of them. It's very, very good. And make sure you use Exilence next, because otherwise, how are you supposed to know how much money that you're making? Number 2 is going to be the classic. I want you to just grab whatever maps that you have, and I want you to elk them all, right? Just like we did with all of our contracts. I'm going to want you, just whatever. If you got some yellow maps, take some yellow maps. You're in white maps, right? Oh my gosh, all I have are 8 mud geysers, all right? Take your 8 mud geysers, please, and corrupt them. and elk them, right? Just do it. Just elk them all, corrupt them all, right? Obviously, if they're magic, you know, if you want, you can regal. Otherwise, just like scour and then elk. Check for your reflex. I'm doing a chaos damage build, so I don't have to worry about anything like that. Corrupt them all. All right, and then just run them. Just run them. Run them. Pick up the currency. Pick up the 6 sockets, the maps, the divs, the fragments, the breach splinters, legion splinters. Oh my god, the everything, the contract, the blight oils, the blight maps, right? All of the everything that shows up on your filter except rares. Stop picking those up, all right? I'll have my own example filter linked in the description of the video. Stop picking up crappy rares, but just go ahead. Just run them all, right? And then I want you to throw it all into your tab, making sure that you take affinity off so you can actually track what money that you have in your tab, right? And this elk and go strategy will make you money. You would be surprised if only you just keep running maps after maps, right? I want you to put a map in here, activate it. I want you to go there, run it, think about the map layout, right? Try to play a little efficiently so you're not backtracking so much. And as soon as you're done with the map, right, as soon as it says less than 50 monsters, I do not want you full clearing these. That's such a waste of time. If it says less than 50 and you don't see any monsters and you're like, it's probably on the other side of the map, portal out, right? Instantly portal out and put another map in. Put another map in, do the map. All right, and then, right, then you dump. After it's loaded, boom, and then you're in another one, right? You've dumped it all into your dump tab, do another one. If you do this for an hour, you know, it doesn't have to be so high strung. You don't have to be so spurky about it. You'll make a couple exalts. You'll be surprised. Check your Exilence next if you don't believe me. Number 3 strategy. The third one, and this one, we're getting a little higher level, right? These are easy. White maps, level 60 contracts. You know, maybe some 80 contracts, do them white. You know, do your maps. This should be pretty easy. You got 6 portals. You're not going to lose anything. This one, you're going to do Shaper. Now, if your build can handle Shaper, that's great. If it can't, you're going to have to do the other strats. Shaper, at this point of the game, after all of these upgrades to our character power and whatnot, is not that difficult of a boss anymore. And he costs only about 50 chaos to run. Every time you do Shaper, you're going to get one of the Uber Elder fragments. And this is where you make your money from, right? Shaper costs about 47 chaos. You get 41 chaos profit because every single time you run this, you're going to get an 83 chaos or an 88 chaos Uber Elder fragment. Every single time. This is not lucky. You either get a fragment of shape or a fragment of knowledge, and you will, no matter what, make 40 chaos every single time you do Shaper. So if you could do Shaper, you know, in 5 minutes, maybe in 10 minutes, right? You could make a couple exalts an hour doing this. And it is not that difficult, although it is also not that interesting, unfortunately. Now, this is the super beginner bossing strategy, right? If you'd like to kick it up a notch, a very nice one, if you have a good build, a miner, a trapper, a minion build, something that can do bosses, totems, forbidden right would be very good for this as well. You can do full allied, the formed invitation runs. Now, this is allied, meaning that you have Guardian's Aid. So every time you do a Shaper or Elder Guardian map, this is not through Zana, this is, you know, you buying the map and putting it in your map device, they'll have a chance to bring an ally, right? It'll bring a random one of the other Guardians, and they'll have a chance at dropping their fragment. You'll do this, and then you'll do the invitation for the Shaper Guardians. So it'll be the Shaper Guardian invitation. So now you're doing the Guardians. You have a chance to get an extra Guardian fragment because of the allied, and you're always guaranteed one anyway when you do them. And then you're going to do the Maven invitation at 70 quantity or higher. And every single time you do this full allied run, you're going to make about 100 chaos, right? About 95 here according to these prices, because you're going to get Shaper fragments every single time. You're going to have extra chance at fragments. You're going to get Orb of Unmakings. You're going to have money from Watchstones as well. And you'll also, on average, get about 5 of the Maven Splinters, which are going to add up to 65 chaos of this 95 in profit every single time. That's pretty good. But you do have to have a pretty nice build for that. So I would start with Shaper. Now, the very, very last thing that you could do, and this goes hand in hand with your mapping elk and go strategy, is going to be doing expeditions. You can do Tujins, and you should be doing Dannings. Now, for Tujin, his exotic coinage goes for, I believe, 6 chaos. So if you guys have any exotic coinage, these are going to sell huge, right? Grab Awaken PoE Trade macro so that you can actually price check your items by pressing Control D, and you'll see they go for about 6 chaos each. And that's only when I have 5. Let's say that you get about 20 of these. Let's say you have 20. How much would you be able to charge if you had 20 exotic coinage? Well, 6, maybe 6.5, right? That's really good money. 5 exotic coinages, that's 30C right there, right? We're already working our way up there. Now, the thing is with this stuff, and all of these other ones are worth money too, right? When you go to the lesser black sites, these are worth about 150 to 1. And so this 400 I have here that I've left over from not selling them, that's, 3C. These ones, they go for 40 to 1 chaos. So that's a lot of money as well, right? 2,600 of these over 40. That's 65 chaos, right? I almost have a half exalt there. These greater black sides, they go for about 30 each. So that's another huge source of money, right? Alongside these exotic coinages. Now, why are people buying these? Because they make money, right? If you're doing Tujin stuff, if you're doing Tujin expeditions, or later on when you're doing logbooks, which are huge, right? Because Tujin logbooks give even more currency than Tujin and maps, and the same with Danning. And that's why people run logbooks. It's exclusively because of the Tujin and Danning currency. It's so, so good. But why buy Tujin currency? Because you'll make money from it, right? Like we talked about, these lesser black sites, you could just use your scroll wheel, go down, right? If you memorize all the good things to buy, and they're generally the same, right? Generally, when you find 5 regrets, they're going to cost common black scythe artifacts, right? The 20 transmutations are going to cost, most of the time, it's going to be the same, and you kind of can get into the groove of it. You're kind of starting to recognize you can really start to blast these and do them very, very fast, and you will make money on average, right? I've done this, and I've made about 30% of money. Firegrass has done this. He's made about 30% of money. There's been 2 Reddit posts up recently. He's had about a 30% return on whatever money he's invested. So you could do the Tujins yourself. Otherwise, if you're too lazy, if that sounds too boring, go ahead, sell your Tujin currency. Now, Danning. Ooh, my boy Danning. Check this out, dude. These burial medallions are 10 chaos each. This is because they can give logbooks alongside a bunch of other currencies. As you know, right? You could buy Tujin currencies every time you refresh your little stash there with all of Danning's other currency. But the burial medallions themselves are worth 10 chaos each. So I've got more than a half exalt just in burial medallions right now. Isn't that pretty neat? That is why logbooks are so powerful. It's because of the Tujin and Danning currency. So if you do want to do logbooks, make sure you're getting the expedition artifacts from them. These are the 4 strategies that I have. I have the starter one for each version, right? We have heist contracts going into higher level contracts, and then you should start doing your grand heists, unusual gems, and replicas, right? Unusual gem BPs, very, very good. You can buy these on the website on PoE, pathofexile.com/trade, right? And you could go for some of the good ones like gems. You could go for replica uniques. Where are my gem ones, right? These are really, really good. There's a lot of gems that you have to start to kind of get used to. But if you just go to PoE Ninja and you look up what gems are going to be valuable, it's very easy to see which ones are very good, right? So we've had all the starter things, all the starter strats. Now we're getting into a little bit more advanced strats after you've had a little bit of fun. So quality, any corrupt, whatever, just look for what some of the good ones are. Right, so a non-level 20. Let's just do a level 1 whatever gem, and it's not going to be awakened, right? So a divergent caster damage taken, 6 exalts. You got to not look at all the awakened ones. Anomalous enlightened, 2.3 exalts, right? That's some crazy stuff. Anomalous Empower, 125 chaos. Divergent Culling Strike is 99 chaos right now. Like, this is some crazy stuff, right? Let's go to no, and then let's do 0 to 19 quality. I want something, I wanted to just take out whatever. All right, that's fine. I just wanted to remove the awakened stuff. But you could see, like, right, Divergent Spell Echo 26C, and you're going up Anomalous. You know, there's so many of these that are just, like, worth a lot of money. And once you get used to them, you could just keep this tab open, and you could do cast, win, right? What one was it? Oh, cast, Divergent, cast when damage taken, or whatever, right? 6.9, you know, 6 exalts, 7 if you've leveled it up, right? Even the anomalous is worth money. Stuff like that, you'll slowly get used to over time. You'll recognize the stinky ones, although you can kind of tell when you just look over them. But unusual gems, incredible money. Now, to upgrade off of the mapping strat, you're going to want to run Atlas passive strategies. So this is going to be Delirium mirror farming up in Lexajoris and Promenade. Made a video on that, super easy. Lyra Arthane, you do blights, you buy blight scarabs, you get blight maps. Super, super easy as well. Valdo's Rest, not as good as it once was. If you just want to Elk and go, still not the worst. You get Harbingers, whatever. You get some extra juice, you know, you could choose worse than that. Hay work, you do some harvest, right? Now, what do I do with harvest? Well, lucky for you, I have a build guide video out that teaches you how to craft gear for it. You could craft gear for a build you're not using, by the way. So that's how you can make a lot of easy, right? A lot of easy money. Grab the ring bases, grab the belt base, do whatever, make gear for other people's characters that they want, mark it up a little bit, right? You put some time, some work, some currency in there, you deserve a little payback. So you get to mark it up as much as you can or as much as the market is willing. Doing some haywork harvest crafts. A good example of stuff to do for this are going to be the Vermilion rings. Now, you need a couple X for the base, then you make a couple X off of some reforges, right? If you hit T1 life with T1 life on hit on a Shaper Vermilion ring, this can sell for 5+ exalts. If it also has this non-channeling mana cost thing on there, right? If you can get that craft, if you can craft that on there, now you made 4, 5, or more exalts. That's pretty crazy, dude. That is pretty nice, right? That's some good stuff. Now the base costs about 3 exalts, right? But you did some life reforges on this ring, which is very, very easy, very low cost. And now you've made 1 to 2 exalts on it. Now, if you hit anything else crazy, now you're now you're loaded, right? Now do the same for a Hunter Vermilion ring, right? Hunter Vermilion ring, 2.4 exalt base. But if you hit Despair, T1 life, and if you can craft the non-channeling, now you've made 8 exalts, 12 exalts. This one, a little more tricky to hit, but you might as well use your caster reforgers on it. But look at that. Now you've made what? Almost 5.5 exalts or more, depending on what else you've gotten on there. That's some pretty good money. That is an expansion of the Elk and Go. So let's talk about the expansion of the bossing. We already dipped into it a little bit. The expansion of the bossing is going to be the formed runs. You could also do full runs of the feared, although this is very, very, very based on how lucky or unlucky you are with bottle faiths, right? You have to run a lot of these feareds, and you're going to have an insane build. So most people probably just do 70 quant formed runs with full allied and etc. Those would be very, very good. And for number 4, it's going to be the logbooks. We talked about these, but the absolute best logbooks that you can run are going to be the Black Scythe Mercenaries and the Knights of the Sun. These are Tujin for Black Scythe and Danning for Knights of the Sun. You do expedition logbooks here. You're going to go for things like increased number of monsters, increased number of runic monsters as well. You're going to look for any of those on the little implicit here, or quantity of artifacts dropped by monsters. You see that's the blue line there. And keep in mind that you can blessed orb these so that it is a better number. That is going to make you a lot of money because, as we talked about, the expedition currencies go for a whole crap ton of money. And so look at this one. Excavated chests have a chance to contain twice as many items. If you hold Alt, right, you'll see these have rolls, Blessed Orb changed these rolls, right? Now I have 40 quantity of artifacts, and now my excavated chests have a 10% chance to duplicate or to contain twice as many items. So then I would elk this, get some quantity on there, and the most important thing you can keep an eye out for, right? Just look for the artifacts stuff from monsters or from chests, but number one, you're going to look for runic monsters are duplicated. So you're going to enter this logbook, right? We make sure that LE weakness, maybe I don't want to do LE weakness. Maybe you've got to roll it a couple times, dodge unlucky, whatever. Let's say this one's good enough. You're going to go ahead, give it to Danning. You're going to choose your black scythe. And you're going to make sure as well. All right, hold on. There's one thing. All right. Just read your thing. If it says it has a boss, that's huge money, by the way. I almost forgot about that. If it says contains Vera, whatever, Uther, or, whatever those guys are, if you have one of those, that's multiple exalts because it's guaranteeing a boss. And people love doing those boss ones because those also give a ton of money because you can omega juice it up. Now, keep an eye out. When you enter, look for a skull. If you have a skull on your mini-map anywhere, that means that is a boss. Now, do your bosses, but do them carefully. Okay, so when you enter, the first thing you're going to want to do is look at the upper blue thing. Some of these are going to say, if you're lucky, runic monsters are duplicated. You're going to be looking for that, right? You have regen, monster hits can't be crits. You're just running around looking at all these little expedition symbol things, right? Can't be evaded, crit, whatever. Right? You're just looking for runic monsters being duplicated. And if you have one, you start with that one. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have that one. It is a bit of a rare mod, and that's totally fine. You'll still make a bunch of money doing this strategy, right? But you'll see increased quantity of artifacts found in chests. Those chests that you want to make sure that you're doing are going to be these expedition blue ones, because these drop a lot of the artifacts as well. So this is the upgrade from doing expeditions in your maps. You're going to start doing logbooks, right? Get the artifacts, put them in your tab. Now, Exilence next does not track artifacts. You'll have to price check those on your own, but no worries. You're going to make a lot of money from those. Anyways, I really, truly hope this helps people who haven't made more than 4 exalts in the league. Honestly, the biggest thing you could do is just use Exilence next. Literally, just do something, right? Get in a map, get in a heist contract, right? If you didn't notice, I just want you to grab 10, 20 or more of something, and I want you to just do it, right? Just do maps, do heist contracts, do Shaper, do your expedition logbooks. You gotta just do something, right? Nobody makes any money just sitting in hideout, looking at tabs and whatnot, right? Unless you've got some sleeper money in your Scarab tab, right? Maybe you've got a couple gildeds, right? Oh, I got some gilded ambush. Those are 21 chaos each, right? You can sell those. Stuff like that. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one and make a lot of money. All right, peace out.